This session is about adapting in the age of technologically disruptions. Some of the things that I want to talk about in this session is just what are some of those disruptions? What are some of those issues? What are some of those things that are forcing you as business owners to rethink how you do business, rethink your business model? I love technology. God, I mean, I don't think there's enough adjectives to describe how much I love technology. And we all hear the word disruption and we think it's a really bad word, but in this day and age of all the changes in the business model, in the business community, in the business world, disruptions are actually a good thing. So my first disruption was actually I had to change my vehicle. So I went from driving this great big gas guzzler Denali to now this is my new vehicle, my smart car. Okay, it's just a joke. but the point is that disruptions are that extreme. How we're going from one end to the other end. I mean, it literally is happening at such an accelerated pace. Every industry has its challenges. Every industry has its disruptions, no matter what industry it is. This slide is just an evolution from the beginning of time where we had the Industrial Revolution lies. How many of you have heard this thing called the Fourth Industrial Revolution? That's where we are right now, where it's big data, where it's cyber-like systems, where it's AI, where it's machine learning. That's where we are right now. Where you look at through history from the very beginning, from the Industrial Revolution age, we had, machines, steamboats, then we had the IT revolution, and now we have the digital revolution. Every change and every disruption that we've had throughout history has always either empowered one group or displaced another group. And there have been some businesses that have grown from that, and then there's been some businesses that have closed because of that. My suggestion is for you is to figure out what are the challenges, what are the disruptions within your own particular industry, your own market, because every business has those challenges. Every businesses have those disruptions. And so it's up to you to figure out what those disruptions are and to kind of create a business model that actually fulfills that. So you take this, for instance, the digital revolution, where it was incremental change, where we went from those little Palm Pilots everyone had to those Trio phones where you couldn't ever get your email to work on them, and so now we're in this whole on-demand Uber ride age. So we're talking about quantum-type leaps that are taking place from a business standpoint, and we're talking about humongous types of disruptions in business models. I mentioned to a group of people the other day, we were earlier this week, and we were talking about how 3 out of every 5 jobs that are going to be created by 2020, that will be actually lost because they were jobs that you will do with your hands. It will be lost through automation and advanced like robotics. So no business is immune to it, so it's up to you to figure out what those challenges are, what those disruptions are, and to be able to create a business model that can actually solve it. So let's talk about some of the exponential technologies that are taking place. Everybody hears the word big data. I know Courtney mentioned data and how do you utilize data in the right way. Firms and businesses that are able to use data in the right way. Now, I know small businesses don't have access to quantum computing and things of that nature, but you do have services out there that can help you interpret and process the data that you do get in your business from a day-to-day. Whether it's a basic predictive analytics, if you're using like Google Analytics or you're using like Facebook's AI, or how you're looking at how your consumer is engaging with you and how are you utilizing that information and how are you creating a business model from that. So we take, for instance, like you got cloud computing, cyber, drones, robots, all of these things in virtuality, all of these things are cutting edge new technologies that are totally changing the landscape of how we do business. I was out in Denver listening to a firm who is using augmented reality to help people with therapy and phobias. So what they're doing is, and using virtual reality, so they're putting goggles on people and then surrounding them, say if you have a fear with spiders, And they're finding out through their study that it's more effective to have someone in a virtual reality get past their phobias or an augmented reality as opposed to just sitting there lying on a couch and talking, hey, why do you have issues with spiders? So these are the kinds of challenges and the things that are taking place in new particular business models. All right, so everything becomes connected. You heard Diana mention earlier about City of Stonecrest talking about the Internet of Things, which we know the Internet of Things is fueled by artificial intelligence. And we know that every device is connected. Do you know that we literally have more connected devices on the planet than we actually have humans now? That's a pretty scary thing. So that sounds like that's a great recipe for that situation in Will Smith movie, iRobots, and, all the robots are taking over and you got the robots delivering a FedEx package to your home. It is a very real thing. So you as a business owner needs to really take the time to figure out what are the challenges and what are the disruptions within your particular industry and how do you fill those gaps? How do you mine those gaps so that you can make sure that as you go forward that your business stays in line with what's going on. So let's talk about some of the different types of innovations. We know that you have your intelligent process automation, and you got your data-driven insights, you got your digital customer experience, you got your digital business models and services, and all which encompasses digital innovation. So we're talking about everything from smart checkouts to biometrics to you being able to buy things with your finger, even with the latest new device with the iPhone where you can open up your phone through facial recognition. So these are the kinds of challenges, and every time there's a new innovation that comes out and every time there is a new disruption that happens, it causes all those businesses that rely on previous technology or previous business models to have to go back and to rethink what those business model is. So it's important for you to understand what are those challenges and create the actual physical budget for your particular business and for your particular industry so that you can make those those changes in your particular business model. All right, so we have here, so let's take a look at digital business models and services. We look at people like Amazon and companies like, for instance, Limited, for instance. You remember, I'm sure a lot of women who shop at Limited and all these kinds of places, and how you're seeing a lot of stores now are actually closing at a rapid pace because for them, they figure it's a lot easier to just push an e-commerce business because we literally can buy things at the click of a button. We literally can take virtual reality rooms and really see how we look in particular clothings. And so these are the kinds of things that when you look at it are fundamentally changing how we operate and how we live, how we function, and how we live as a society and human beings, and matching and merging technology and human behavior and interaction together. So others examples of digital models, like for instance, like we have eBay, PayPal, Airbnb, Facebook, e-commerce platforms. A lot of these solutions are out there. Like Google, for instance. Google creates a lot of products that you can utilize from a business standpoint, that AI products that you can incorporate into your business model that can help you. You may not have the resources to go out and say, hey, I want to see how can AI help my business and what do I need to do to convert my business into using some kind of AI machine learning component. But there are plenty of tools out there such as API keys and things that you can utilize and use data in the correct way. Because my biggest concern is that if we don't figure out a way to democratize this, a lot of small businesses will find themselves kind of out of business before they can be in business because they're thinking that, hey, I don't have the resources of a Google. Hey, I don't have the resources of an eBay. I don't have the resources of an Uber. But there are plug-in tools and there are things that are out there that can help you bring your business to the next level. So it's not so much me turning you all into robots or turning you all into data miners or data scientists, but it's so much helping you understand how impactful technological disruptions are and how they can impact your overall business model. So as we go through that, so let's look at, because we're living in this thing called a platform economy. We all have heard before and the panels throughout the day have mentioned everything from social media to finances to even to the federal government. To hear the federal government now does e-signatures is like when they were so used to, you sign this paper, you send it in, you mail it to me, and we're good to go. So we do truly live in what is called a platform economy. And what a platform economy is just how we share data, how we communicate with each other, how services are provided, what infrastructures that we're using for that, the digital marketplace that we're employing that, and how beneficial is it to you to make sure that your business is on a platform that you can be able to do commerce and business around the world. I mean, how exciting is that to where if you take 10, 15, 20 years ago, that for you, the amount of resources it would take you to reach someone in like a China or in Africa or New Zealand or a Canada or a Japan, and now you literally can do it at the click of a mouse. Or, you know, I mean, just think about that, the power, the impact that you have and the reach that you have as small business owners and the resources to your, that are at your disposal. But it's up to you to sit down with the right people to figure out, say, hey, what are the challenges? What are the problems within my current business model? And how can I implement some of these challenges to make sure that I am taking advantage of a full platform? And then, of course, there's always some challenges that come into place and sharing and cybersecurity and all of these issues that small business owners struggle with and being able to secure their data, being able to secure their work as well. So being able to build your business on a platform economy is going to be very beneficial for you going forward. And so, and here's some examples in utilizing platform economies, such as Bitcoin, Airbnb, Spotify, iTunes, Changing Diabetes, IBM Watson is a great solution. IBM Watson has a whole department or business that helps companies be able to integrate tools like artificial intelligence and machine learning into their business model. Salesforce as well. That helps you to be able to utilize these tools that help you to grow your business and to be a player in this whole digital disruptive age. Servification. So let's look at this for a second. All right, so you take, for instance, how you got insights at service, remote collaboration as service, remote diagnostics as service, quality management as services, predictive maintenance as service, products as service, and the value chains as service. This is a business model enabled by the industrial IoT, Internet of Things. I know that seems like a lot, but these are the kinds of fundamental systems that are functioning and operating within an Internet of Things type of system. So for you as a business owner, being able to figure out how do you integrate these tools so that you can make sure that your business is operating, because 9 times out of 10, your customer is going to be communicating with you, whether it be using one of these platforms, whether you're using Airbnb or whether you're using Amazon or whether you're using PayPal or however else you're transacting business. You need to make sure that your business speaks the same language of all these other existing businesses. If your business is somewhat of an antiquated age, you're going to have a real hard challenge in being able to scale that business for the next level. So the different types of digital innovation. So let's focus on data-driven insights. We heard earlier today the importance of you don't want to go viral because that customer that you're going to go viral may not necessarily be the customer that you want to be able to reach or sell your services to. So you want to make sure that you use data in the right way. And small businesses have struggled with being able to use data in the right way, mostly because they don't know what data to actually use. What data should they actually look at? How is that data impacting their overall business model? How is the data impacting their marketing strategy? How is it impacting their financial strategy? And being able to use predictive analytics and using it in the context to where you can say, okay, for instance, if you have an e-commerce business, if you say Sally bought a hat, if Sally bought a hat, Sally is likely to buy a jacket. If Sally bought a jacket, Sally's likely to buy a pair of gloves. So if you use, and that's just using predictive insights in the right way, in the right context, and that's using data and the information so that you can know exactly who your end user is and who your consumer is, and so that you're making sure that you're using data in the right way. And I know that there are plenty of companies out there that will charge you a lot of money to be able to mine your data. But Google Analytics is a very simple entry-level point for people. And they provide a simple plugin or a embedded code or an API that you can embed right into your website, which is a very low level in being able to do that. And there's a website that I don't know it right offhand, but I can email it to if anybody who wants to know it. That actually what this website does is it tests your website, tests your industry, and what it does is it tells you where the challenges are and where the gaps are in your industry. And it tells you where the technological disruptions are in that particular industry that you may be in. And then what it does is it provides you a report on what you would need to do in order to make sure that your business is in line with where the market is. I'm going to find that website for you, and I think I have it at the end, and I'll make sure that you guys get that information. So, data-driven insights. You know, when you think about data, think about it in the terms of dollars and cents. You know, you think about it from Facebook's standpoint. What's Facebook's actual product? People think, well, Facebook's actual product is, oh, well, they're selling ads and you're on a social media site. No, Facebook's actual product is you. They sell your information. They sell your data. They sell how you engage on their platform. And based off of that information on how you engage on their platform, that information is useful to other people or other companies, and they use that information, whether it be product sales, whether it be, you know, you're more likely to take a vacation to Puerto Rico as opposed to the Bahamas, or you're more likely to go to Johannesburg as opposed to go to Poland. You know, all that information, data insight, using data in the right way can be a very, very productive tool if you utilize it in the right context. Now, the challenge is I know that small businesses don't have, you know, these humongous research departments. And when you think about it, but you do have huge research departments, but it's just in a data way. So if you're utilizing your Twitter, your social media feeds, if you're utilizing all of your external sources, your Facebook, and you're utilizing all of that information in the right way, that's insight management. Everyone should, at some point in time, sit down with someone that is a strategist, a social media strategist, or someone that is savvy in making sure that you are, in fact, using data in the correct way based upon the industry that you're actually in. All right, and this is just a data insight. I'm not going to deconstruct this whole thing because it'd be way too much. But once you collect all the data, you bring it down. You got your disruptive, what happened. You got your what happened, why did it happen, predictive, what will happen, and then prescriptive. What will you want to do? What do we want to happen? And so when you think about it in that context, that is literally the formula for how you want to use data. What happened? Why did it happen? What will happen? What do we want to happen? And when you think of it in descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive. So when you look at data and you're looking at it in those contexts, and when you think about it, it's almost like, and that's why I am like a big anti-survey guy, because everybody lies on surveys. Everybody tells you what they want to hear, and then you get a lot of false data, and you don't get true hardcore data when you get, because most times when you get a survey, they're asking you to fill out 20,000 questions, and to be honest with you, about the 10th question, or I'm not even going that far, by the 5th question, I'm just putting any old thing in there. Oh yeah, I like this. Oh, I like that. You know, because I just want to get through it. I'm like, I don't even know why I even clicked on take the survey. So that's why I'm not a big fan of survey and SurveyMonkey and all these different places. So, but the best predictor is how am I engaging with my customer, and what are they thinking about me as a business owner, and how am I utilizing the data that I'm collecting from them on a day-to-day basis. That's how you want to use data management, and data management in the right context. Let's look at the intelligent automation process. So you got the user. You got the process automation, and then you got the decision maker. So you got the one that's collecting the data, one that's processing and interpreting the data, and then the decision maker, the automation process. So that automation process may be some kind of AI or some kind of ML, machine learning component, meaning like a Google Analytics or something like that, that has some form of an artificial intelligence that is doing predictions for you. I know that Salesforce has a product called Heroku, and what it does is it does predictions for you. You can actually spend $40 to $100 or more per month, and it can do anywhere from 40,000 predictions a month, 100,000 predictions a month, 100,000 or 1 million predictions. And what it does is it gives you data based on what your particular industry. Now, it's still up to you to have a platform to be able to interpret that information, and how do you implement that information into your current business model, and how do you turn that data into actual hardcore dollars, which is going to be the most important part for you. So you got the swivel chair process, the user emulation, your workflow automation, and the business automation. When you think about the whole flow of things, and when you look at all these back-end systems, it's like, how many of you have ever gone to a website or like Dillard's or Macy's or Saks, and you look on a pair of shoes or jacket or a purse or something, and then now you're paying your Georgia Power bill and you see that same jacket or same shirt pop up. You know, that is a good use case of how using data in the right way and tracking your consumer and tracking what you like. That's a great way to do that, because you're keeping it in the front of their mind. Hey, you liked this product, and then you're going to consistently see that. You have that same ability as small business owners to utilize tools like that and utilize it in a way that actually turns into hardcore dollars. So we are in a true digital economy, and we're in a true disruptive economy, and it's up to you as small business owners to take the tools that you're being given here, the opportunity to sit down with a mentor to kind of work through what are some of the disruptions in your particular industry, and how do I address those particular issues. So you got high value recruitment process, like for instance, IBM Business Process Manager. So how many of you know that most job applications that you fill out, if you don't meet all of the criteria that system is set up for, your application will never be seen. Your resume will never be seen, because it already has these keywords that are set up for what it's actually looking for. The faster you can process and get rid of all the data and the information that you don't need, and get to the data and the information that you do need, so that you can make sure that your business can thrive and continue to go forward, it just makes your job a lot easier, as opposed to going through 100 applications. Yeah, I want this person. No, I don't want that person. Yeah, I want this person. No, I don't want that person. And that is a luxury of fully automating your business model and fully automating it into this whole technological disruptive age, and figuring out how do I make my business model work for me. And this is just a little chart of automation choices. You got your automation choice, cost strategy, value strategy, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Automate, accelerate work, reduce the staff, possibly eliminate, creative workflow, and artisan. Create new low-cost offers, employ low-cost skills, less expensive workers, less experienced workers. So the faster you can weed through the things you don't need to get to the things that you actually do need will actually work more in your favor, as opposed to you spending a whole lot of unnecessary time and a lot of unnecessary resources for that. All right, so IBM and Hilton are working on a collaboration, and I'll skip through that because that's pretty detailed. I don't want to go into that. So the rise of the demanding Y generation, increase of importance of online channels, increasing customer expectation, and decreasing customer loyalty. So the better you understand your consumer, the better you understand your user, the better you can be able to market, the better you can utilize the right channels. You heard that earlier in social media. You heard that as far as automation. I know Mia's real good at that. I know that Constant Contact has tools that track and MailChimp as well, who's opening your website, who's opening your email. There is trackers that say what part of the region or what part of the country, who is looking at your website. Like, I get a lot of hits from overseas. I get a lot of hits in Africa. I get a lot of hits in Europe. And surprisingly, I get a lot of hits in Texas. And so what that does is that kinds of information for me, and I get a lot of hits elsewhere, but what it does is it allows me to say, hey, if I'm thinking about penetrating a new market or a new industry, I can sit there and use that back-end data to say, hey, if I'm spending all my dollars here in marketing somewhere and there's no actual true customer here, then maybe, hey, let me spend some time over here where there actually are customers and there are people that are actually interested in what I'm trying to do. All right, so understanding the customer data DNA. Understanding the behavior and the needs is the key. Understanding your customer data DNA. Being able to deconstruct, understanding your customer's DNA. When you understand what your customer's DNA is, man, I tell you, they're growing pigs in labs. There was just a new thing where they actually have grown beef in a petri dish. I don't know if I would eat it, but the fact that they've actually grown beef in a dish. So when you think about those kinds of things, and the point of that is just the fact that how we can take strands of DNA and take that organism and grow meat in a dish. So when you think about it in that context, literally you can grow your customers and understanding their data, understanding how they're engaging with you, understanding their DNA, and you can continue to duplicate and replicate your particular customer. All right, so, and then understanding some of the omni-channels is a prerequisite for great customer experience. Where do you get them? The web. Are they engaged on mobile? Is it social? Is it a contact center, in-store, media and advertising, direct mail? Understanding where you're grasping that data. Where are you pulling it from? Because one of the things that I'm, a suspect of this, where I hear the next hottest technology or the next best app or the next best website, and next thing you know, my inbox is flooded with all these different things because I've subscribed to all these different services and stuff that I don't even really need. So you need to really figure out what is the best possible channel for you and how you're going to utilize the information once you've gathered from that particular channel. So I will skip through that. And this is just, new ways of engaging with customers. I gave the example earlier about, using virtual reality and augmented reality to, cure people's phobia. And there's a company that I'm working with right now. They're taking actual Bible scenes and they're putting it in a virtual reality setting. And what they're doing is they're going from different churches to really help people understand the Bible, that people who don't want to read it, and they're creating stories from the Bible in virtual reality, and you're actually inside the story. So the nativity scene, so you can actually walk up and see Jesus in the man. And really watch and see the Red Sea parting and all these different things. So when you think of the user experience, you think, and I know a lot of this stuff seems so way out there and so high tech, but I tell you this, if you open your mind up and put it in this space that is just, where there's nothing, that is just, everything is open, everything is for game, I promise you will find out some things. Well, and then you have your traditional models, and you got the store closing, the Blockbuster. If you don't use data in the right way, you can be, how many of you seen a Blockbuster lately? None of you seen a Blockbuster. It's replaced by streaming. It's replaced by Netflix. I don't think Redbox is going to be around that much longer. Now, I'll be careful. That's a disclaimer. That's my own opinion. Redbox, don't sue me on that. It's just my own personal opinion on that. With streaming data, what's the point? I'm going to suggest to say that you will see a lot of cable companies that will start to go away. What's the point? If I can, like Hulu just announced their live streaming service of live TV for $30 a month. Why am I going to pay Comcast or DirecTV $200 a month when I can get all the same channels through Hulu for a third of the cost? So these are the kinds of disruptions that if you don't understand what those challenges are in your particular business and you want to hold on to that old business model, then you'll be that old Blockbuster, waiting for people to come on and rent a video from you. So you want to make sure you understand the changes. All right, so as we come to somewhat of a close, who is responsible? You have to have a team or people or advisors of people that you know or people that you work with that thoroughly understand what needs to happen, okay? We know that we need to make this technological change. We know there's disruption. We know it's affecting our industry. We know we need to, take a quantum leap somewhere. We know all these things. But you need to have the team and the people that can help you be able to construct that whole strategy. What does that actually look like for you? What does it actually look like for your business? Now, you may not necessarily have these lists of people, but at the end of the day, your digital innovation, you will have your chief innovation officer, your chief analytical officer, your chief data. Now, you're not going to have all these people, but the point of what I'm trying to say is that you need to have enough of the smart people around the table for you to know what are the challenges and what are the pivots that I need to make as a small business owner so that I can make sure that we're heading in the right direction. Because I promise you this, you can sit in those chairs and say, it's not going to affect me. I'm not going to be all right. There are companies that are closing doors at rapid paces. Look at Toys R Us. How long has Toys R Us been around? Kids don't want to go in the stores and buy toys anymore. They want a phone. They want to play Pokemon Go. They want to play they want something virtual reality, augmented reality, no reality. They want something that they can play with. And most times it's not a toy anymore. It's a game on the phone. So please understand the importance of making sure that you do a thorough assessment of where your business is, where does it fall into this whole disruption landscape, and be able to make the necessary changes so that your business can, in fact, be a recipient of all of this glorious stuff that's actually taking place. So digital innovation requires something completely new. You got to the left in the blue, where you got the traditional IT, and you got the fast IT. Everything must be agile now. You must be able to move, pivot, be agile, be able to make quantum leaps. I don't know if you've ever seen a cheetah run. It is probably one of the most dynamic things that you will ever see in your entire life. Its eye is always on that prize. Its eye is, I'm about to bite the mess out of that piece of meat that is right in front of me. And no matter how fast that thing is running, if it cuts to the left, that cheetah's, boom, it's off to the left. It never loses its focus because it realizes what that end goal is. And that's what you have to do as a small business owner. You have to be like that cheetah. You have to look 10 and 5 years down the road and see what's going to happen with your business and your particular industry. And you have to be able to have the assets, the digital assets, the resources, and the people to be able to make those quick moves, quick pivots, so that you can make sure that you take advantage of all of these disruptions. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. I know it's been a long day. I am shortening this thing next time we do it. I've learned a lot of lessons from the day, but it's been a good day. And feel free to come down and see me, talk to me if you want some changes and some challenges, and we good to go. So thank you.